We are live.
Hi everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. Like I had mentioned, that we'll be coming live. We have here Dr. Ahmed R. Khan before us. We all know him. We all love him. We have known him on LinkedIn and Twitter for a really long time. He is known specifically for posting lots of content for international medical students in the field of psychiatry. And even if you're just applying into US residency, he is an assistant professor of psychiatry and mostly I think he's known for providing a lot of motivation and support that a lot of students lack, which is why I'm really grateful that he agreed to answer all of the questions in the IMG Reddit community. And now I'm going to pass it over to him to share a few words with us.
Uh, Thank you, Shweta. Thanks a lot for arranging all that. Definitely, I'm, as Shweta mentioned, assistant professor of psychiatry. I'm also president of my medical school alumni SIMS, and I'm also part of PAPANA, which we have for psychiatry applicants. Treasurer elect for that. Uh, since I started my residency back in 2017, I've been trying to assist all match applicants, especially IMGs, because I have gone through the whole journey. I have seen the ups and downs. So just want to pay back by giving my 2 cents to people who need some help. So Shweta came up with the idea that I am not on Reddit or Pinterest, so I did not know that there's a whole like a community. So many of you have been asking me some questions as well. So I thought we'll do a YouTube live and we can discuss those questions. So without further ado, Shweta, why don't we start with the questions?
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So I'll be starting with the R IMG Reddit first, and then we'll shift to the R Psychiatry, which is purely psychiatry questions asked by psych residents and psych fellows. So starting with the IMG Reddit, this person is asking that I'm a non traditional outside of the US. I am starting medical school at a later age than my friends. And I'm wondering how having a medical school degree being spelled or written other than MD would get treated in the residency application process. If I study medicine in my own country, my diploma would say MBBS. And if I choose to go to medical school in a different country, the most feasible country for me to study in gives medical school graduates the title Doctor of Medicine. So while that does stand for Doctor of Medicine, it isn't abbreviated as MD. Rather, legally, it's abbreviated as Doctor.med. What is the difference between IMGs applying with an MD degree and IMGs applying with other medical degrees like MBBS or Doctor.med?
Good question. A lot of people ask that. So even from Pakistan, India, the degree is MBBS. Even I'm not like 100% sure. Even European degrees, they are MBBS. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. So it's always unless you graduate from a medical school within US, not even Caribbean, you are an IMG. If you are US citizen or you have green card, you would be US IMG. If you require visa, you would be non-US IMG. So that does not matter. So MBBS is Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery. MD is medical doctor. Then DO is Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine. So these words may not make any difference. The things that would make a difference is that you have gone to a med school in a country that US recognizes with all the WFME accreditation and everything. So that's also the name doesn't matter.
Oh, that's perfect. That clears a lot of doubts. Thank you. So the next question is the title of the question is how should introverts even tailor a good personal statement? I am an introvert by birth. I never participated in any extracurriculars. I went to classes, watched TV shows, studied and passed my med school. Nothing special. How should people like me tailor a personal statement? Do we introverts even have a chance?
Absolutely. So again, being an introvert or extrovert is a part of one's personality. You can, if you are extremely introvert and you feel that it's not helping you your personality overall in academic setting or in simple day-to-day relationship with your family and friends, you can try to be a little less introvert, a little more extrovert, and vice versa. But if you are introvert, it doesn't mean that uh, there is no chance. Yeah, there is always a chance. So in the meded community, the hashtag we use in Twitter, in the meded community, there are all kinds of people, extremely introvert, extremely extrovert, in between. So yeah, you always have a chance. So in your personal statement, just own it. Own it in a way that it comes out as positive, not as negative. Because of course, when you start a residency, uh, if you are too introvert to even interact with your peers, your co-residents, your seniors,
Yeah.
juniors, your attendings, then they may also think you may not be able to interact with the patients, and which I'm pretty sure not the case because if you have gone through the med school. So being an introvert is an okay thing. Again, it depends. So it's so we don't necessarily need to like stigmatize or pathologize everything.
Hmm.
Being introvert, being extrovert is part of the personality, and with few modification it should be accepted.
Yeah, I think a lot of students they also ask this question that they think that something significant needs to happen in their life so that they can mention that in their personal statement. So a lot of people are, oh, what if I've lived a very ordinary life, nothing significant happened to me, like no tragedy, no, I've been in a life of privilege. Like, how do I even begin to come up with a very strong personal statement? So this is also a very common thing that people ask.
Yeah, very good question. So again, personal statement, a lot of people, the idea is not that it needs to be extraordinary. The idea is not that it needs to be like a blockbuster movie. No. So personal statement has two words. It's a two word personal. So it should be personal to you. It should talk about you as a person. And then statement means that it should make a statement about you, not necessarily you have flown a plane or you have like run marathons,
Yeah.
anything about you from your childhood, because every person has gone through a journey. So personal statement is about describing that journey in a way that makes you a very attractive candidate in terms of getting a residency interview.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that you have to boost. Honesty is the best policy in terms of personal statement. It's all about that how you present your own story in a way that it attracts people. Once anyone reads a good personal statement, let's I'm reviewing the application, then I would want to meet that person. I would want to interview that person. That should be the aim. But yeah, it's not like if you so first that no one's life is ordinary.
Hmm.
So it could be ordinary in point of one person's point of view, but not, it should not, it must not be ordinary in your own eyes. Okay. Let's say you are an IMG and you have taken your exam, you are applying for residency. This in itself is such a huge achievement that you should be proud of yourself. What we do is, especially IMGs, a lot of us go through the imposter syndrome. We don't
Yeah.
give ourselves grace. And actually, if
Yeah.
you are on my YouTube channel, you can see there is a video on
Yeah.
imposter syndrome as well. So yeah, so give yourself grace and just narrate your story. It does not have to be a blockbuster movie.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. That's beautiful. And yeah, you're very right about the imposter syndrome. Okay, so the next question is the title is Older IMG. I have a step one score of 231, step two score of 236, and step three, I am studying and collecting US clinical experience. I have one paper published. My year of graduation is absolutely scaring me. It's 2019. Any advice? Should I give up and leave? I want to get matched into family medicine or internal medicine, but internal medicine considers fresh graduates only, and I'm aiming for 2024 to 2025 match. What do you think?
Again, one thing again, there's nothing impossible. Okay, so just leave that word out of your dictionary. Things are difficult, things are easy, things are very difficult, near impossible, but they're never impossible. When I applied for residency, I graduated my med school in 2012 and did my mandatory internship from 2012 to 2013. So I initially applied to match in 2015, 16, and then matched in the second attempt. So 2019, right now it's 2024, so it's a little bit. You should not be considered like an extremely old graduate. Okay, you will still be within 5 years. I have seen people who have graduated their med schools 10, 15, 20 years ago matching. The good thing is that your scores 231 and 236, they are okay. So they are not like wow, but they are also not bad. Very
Yeah.
reasonable. I hope that you don't have any attempt. because attempt can potentially dent an application, but still it doesn't rule out anything. Just take step three, try to get good US clinical experience if you can. And again, if you can do a remote or on site research, that would help. So it's all about what you can add to your CV. So it's not about that this is my CV. So there are some modifying factors and there are some non modifying factors. Now, of
Mhm.
course, you cannot modify your year of graduation or your scores once you have
Yeah.
taken the exams. Add things which you can. Okay. So never say never.
Wonderful. Um, the next question is kind of sad. The person says, I am exhausted, frustrated, and angry. I struggled so much to reach here. I never thought of giving up, though odds were against me. The context is I come from a middle class family. I failed my step one, wrote again, and passed. And now my visa gets rejected for the second time. What should I do? I gave my NEET PG in 2 months, and it's my country's exam, and I'm out of this race too. Financially and mentally, I'm completely drained. I bought the UWorld for 1 year and I have spent money on that as well. If someone is looking to buy UWorld step 2, please contact me, since it will help my financial situation. This journey was daunting, and giving any future and authority to someone, I have no control of it, and it's scary. I understand visa rejections, but can't they be a little considerate? Right now, I just wish I can crack my NEET PG at least. I'm feeling extremely depressed, and I feel like I just struggled a lot this far for getting to go down the drain. To everyone out there, I would love, irrespective of where you are and you're standing right now, I'm proud of you for not giving up. I wish I could be like you as well. I'm wishing you all the best to everyone.
Again, really sorry to hear about that. A few things. So one thing is that I would not endorse anyone selling you wool because it's illegal. So again, I, being part of the matter, I would not and I will not endorse that. Uh, so the thing is, I understand. So I myself have gone through visa problems. My case went to administrative processing during third year of my residency, and that put me off cycle for 3 months. And then after I finished my residency, and I went to back to my country, Pakistan, for visa conversion. Actually, they put my passport under processing again, and it took 4 months. And
Oh.
meanwhile, my wife, who was a resident, who was here with my daughters, first time one daughter, second time two daughters. So things are difficult. So US, because so many people all over the world want to come to US, State Department have some rules. Not necessarily we would agree to their rules. And are they strict? Are they sometimes unjust? Can they be biased? Potentially, but at the end of the day, it's their country, so it's their right to allow people they want to enter and not
Mhm.
allow people they don't want to enter. What I would say is if visa rejection is your primary issue, I have had uh, advised, recommended a lot of people because you are not the only one. People from Pakistan, Bangladesh, some people from India, Middle Eastern countries, or Arabic countries. It's like every day for them. So what things can help is if you're doing a permanent good job in your home country, because all they want to see is strong ties to your home countries, because they don't want you to come here and never come go back. The other thing is that what I have observed from the question, and so you haven't taken CK. I hope you have taken step one. So if you haven't taken CK and you're applying for US visa, that in itself is a weak case, because the ideal thing for people which I recommend these days is either if you are a student, you can apply for on the basis of elective. Even at that time, you should at least take step one. That would even enhance your chances of getting electives. If you have graduated, you're not a student anymore. Ideal thing is that you take step one, two, you take IELTS or TOEFL, OET, and you get ECMMG certified, and then you apply for step three, and you apply for the visa on the basis of step three permit, because step three is an exam they know that it has to be taken within
Oh.
US. I know they have rejected some people from Pakistan even on the basis of step three, but that is still your best bet. So again, I'm not saying that they were right to reject your visa, but I'm just telling you some of the things. And in my channel, you will see some videos on visa. I have explained the process there. So the best thing is that if you are applying on the basis of an observership or a rotation, you need to have a legit letter. Otherwise, usually if you have not taken any exam, they would reject it most likely. If you have taken one exam, they may tell you why haven't you taken all the exams. So they have don't consider that the consular officer or visa officer don't know any stuff. They know everything. So be mindful about those things. So try to make your case better and never lose hope.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good idea. I did not know about the step tree that you can use that as an way to like come to this country. But yeah, that's very nice. Okay, so the next question is this person has applied to internal medicine but has not got any interview yet. He is 2022 graduate. He has 3 years of emergency medicine residency in home country. He has 2 months of US clinical experience, 2 research publications with poster and paper presentations and national conference. He applied for internal medicine but unfortunately did not get any interviews. He's planning to SOAP for emergency medicine and wants any words of advice or guidance.
Uh, Again, thanks for sharing. He has not shared anything other than a year of graduation, so I'm not sure whether he has an
Mm,
attempt. What are his scores?
yeah.
Ideally, so I can advise as general. So ideally, what I've seen is people who have scores in excess of 240s in their two steps or 250s uh, without step three and fresh year of graduation, even they are not getting a lot of interviews this year. So this year has been very tough for IMGs. So having said that, some people who have good clinical experience, good letters, some research, they are also getting interviews. So I cannot comment unless I know the exact details. You could always reach
Mhm.
out to me via Twitter. You can send a message and we can discuss further. Thank you.
Okay. Now the next question is it possible to pre-match outside of NRMP? I think I screwed up. I have done everything required of me by the ECFMG, including OET, Step 2 CK, clinical skills attestation, etc. I was tight on money and waited until the weekend to pay for my pathway application. But because we are IMGs and nothing can be done easily, luck was not my friend, and my account was locked out the entire weekend, or the system crashed. I don't know. But I tried all weekend to log in and was met with error codes and the website redirected in circles. I tried everything and could that I could think of, and at the end of the day, all I could do was try each day and watch the clock meet 6 p.m. on Sunday. I tried contacting ECFMG when they opened their office up, but of course, there's nothing they could do for me after explaining the technical error. And I am SOL for 2024 match. If I knew, I would have sold my car or an organ to give them their dang $1,000 weeks prior. Anyway, I'm applying for emergency medicine and have always wanted to do emergency medicine. I have gotten a lot more interviews than I expected, and I had many places. I have seen many places seem eager to have me join them. It's EM, so take what I'm writing with a grain of salt. Now, I want to reach out to PDs explaining my situation, but I don't know if there's anything they can do until post match and go from having all kinds of options, even competitive ones, to having to scramble post soap spots, all because of a computer error. This sucks. I am ready to throw it in the towel because of how drained I am. None of us can afford all of this mentally or financially. Any advice about moving forward without avoid violating some rules would be greatly appreciated. I'm an US IMG.
Okay, so I think again it's a very long question, but I think what he's trying to say is that he did not register with NRMP because it seems that
Yeah.
so it seems that he got interviews and everything. So again, you and if he hasn't, he should reach out to NRMP, tell them it's because it's a $70 fee, and I think that if you are late, they may charge you more, but you should be able to do it. I mean, if unless NRMP is very strict and they have told him they will not do, which usually they don't, just try to reach out to them. And if possible, you are USIMG, go meet them, some of their high officers, and request them. Because other than that, if you are not NRMP registered, you'll not be able to make your rank order list. And unless you get a pre-match, then you don't have a chance. So just try to reach out to an RMP and explain to them what happened. But what I'm failing to understand is usually there's a very long window where you can register for an RMP. So even if you had some errors, I guess you should have still time to do that. So I'm not understanding the full question, but in any case, reach out to an RMP.
Yeah, I think because he mentions it's $1,000 and RMP is $70. one
Yeah,
thousand
it's
dollars was
$70. So I'm not understanding what he's
yeah.
saying. So yeah, let's move on to the next question.
Okay. So the next questions were asked by either medical students or psych residents or psych fellows. This question is about how do you know if a patient is actually malingering? I'm a final year medical student, and today I clerked a patient with underlying DID presented with back pain and lower limb weakness. She had all the red flags: loss of weight, loss of appetite, urinary and bowel incontinence, and saddle anesthesia. It's like everything I asked, she mostly said yes. And I was skeptical about it during history taking because she just brushed it off. On physical examination, there was an obvious spasm of the hamstring, and she did have upper motor neuron findings, hyperreflexia, Babinski positive, myoclonus. But weirdly, sensation is reduced from C5 and below. I presented the case to my supervisor, and he also agreed that this might be a case of malingering. My question is, how did the patient have positive findings if she was malingering? Is that possible that they were unconsciously malingering?
So there are a few things. So I think that it doesn't seem like malingering and to me. So what it looks like is what we called uh, conversion disorder.
Yeah.
So conversion disorder is something that people actually feel after stress, like people would just fall. And they can, I'm not entirely sure in that case, the signs should not be positive. I guess they should just like do a complete neurological workup. So it doesn't look like malingering to me at least. And let's try to focus on the residency aspects of the questions because these questions, I think, now are mainly entering in the other room. So try to focus
Mm.
on the residency questions.
Yeah. So all the other residency questions of IMG Reddit that I had sent you are mostly covered. If you have any other
Yeah,
questions, then
yeah.
that would
So
be
yeah,
great.
we can yeah. We have
Mm.
5 6 minutes. We can talk about general things. So again, this match has been tough. Whether I have been closely monitoring the match for internal medicine, psychiatry.
Mhm.
People even who have in internal medicine 250 to 60 scores, even they have not gotten that many interviews, which you would expect. And one of the reasons is, of course, when the interviews were in person, the AMGs, MDs, and DOs even they would get a lot of interviews. They would apply to 25, 30 programs. They would get interviews from more than 80%, but they would not go to every interview because it takes a lot of money and effort to actually
Oh.
go there. So you will have more cancellations. Now, because it's just virtual, so
Mhm.
AMGs are applying widely to a lot of specialties, especially psychiatry, because it has become so competitive. And
Yeah.
B, because the interviews are virtual, so they said, okay, it's just about sitting in front of the camera. Why don't we just take the interview? So
Mhm.
that is one of the reasons that people are having a lot of difficulties, and that combined with already present visa issues. So there have been a lot of stuff this season. But again, at the end of the day, and what I will tell you people that one of my mentees 2 years ago, he had one interview and he matched in psychiatry, and I'll be making a video with him. So I'll be starting a new series, resilience journey, and I'll be making a video with him. So it's not like a textbooks thing. I'm saying you all you need is actually one interview. Of course, if you have one interview, your chances of getting matched are lower, but you can still match. So if you are currently in a match and you don't have more than 3 4 interviews, and even 3 4 interviews you feel that you may have gotten through some connection, and you in your own inner self is feeling that you may not match, then the best thing would be that hoping that you may match, but also trying backup. Like backup could be what you can add extra to your CV. If you haven't taken step three, try to take that if you have resources. If your CV is heavy on clinical experience, try to get some research and vice versa. So try the other thing a lot of people ask me, I'll tell if you can get a rotation at a place at a hospital which have a residency program in
Mhm.
which you get a chance to interact with the program leadership, the residents, that could potentially really, really help. So focus on these things. I know the match has been difficult, but the competition will keep going up with every year. So
Yeah.
there are a lot of Caribbean med schools, more are opening, so they have advantage over IMGs, non-US IMGs, even US IMGs that are non-Caribbean, because their rotations are in their third and fourth year are in US.
Yeah.
So, and they rotate in the biggest hospital, like in New York City, they will rotate in Almus, Queens Hospital, and main hospitals in Chicago, and 99% of the time they have residencies there. So the non-US IMGs or non-Caribbean US IMGs, you have to up your game in that regard. And a lot of people would say that sometimes people just focus on the scores. If I am a PD and I'm looking at the CV of an IMG, scores, USMLE scores are the only objective thing that I can see. MSPE, even I'm this year during the interview season at my own hospital, I saw there's such a huge variation even within the MSPEs among US and DOMED, MD and DOMED schools within
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
So what I would say is that scores are the objective measure that they see. I know that they all talk about holistic view, and they do.
Mhm.
I'm not saying they don't do, but you have to be mindful about the fact that holistic view also incorporates the score. So scores are important, but and the reason I'm saying is that there's a trend in the medical students in India and Pakistan that, oh yeah, let's do elective, let's do that. Focus on your exams. Pass step one because it's pass fail as soon as possible. Start
Mhm.
preparing for CK. CK would be the most important exam ever now, because if you score really well, you have an advantage. And again, if you have financial resources, you have visa, you have time, please take step three. I would say again, there has been a lot of debate on Twitter as well. People who say that it's just a licensing exam, I'm sorry to say,
Mhm.
but they may say it on your face, but they don't consider that. I have had chances to interact with PDs, Pakistani Indian PDs, Caucasian PDs, US PDs themselves, and 99% of the time they would say that, yeah, we do consider step three. One of the reason is if you fail step three during your residency, which anyone can fail due to the stress, all states allow only so much chances, some two, some three,
Mhm.
and after
Yeah.
that they have to fire you. In my own residency program where I did my residency, they had to fire two residents due to the step three failure. So just imagine that. So it's all about, they cannot, of course, they cannot mandate it,
Mhm.
because AMGs, of course, they cannot take it, and other people who graduate like really is a 0 year graduation cannot take it. But if you can take it, it's something that would add extra to your CV rather than spending thousands of dollars on more extra rotations. Just try to be mindful what your CV needs. Okay,
Yeah.
so that would be all. Really appreciate who joined, and the people who could not join. Of course, the recording should be available on my channel, and it's something that we can do in the future as well. Thanks, Shweta. You arranged everything, and I hope that discussion helps. And if you have any questions, you can post in the comments. You can reach out to us individually. Any last words, Shweta, from you?
I think this has been great. I mean, I can say from my own experience, I applied in the 2024 residency cycle, and I'm from a Caribbean med school. So everything you said was like absolutely true. This year has been hard, and for like all the IMGs, I mean, even IMGs who like could not come here for rotations. I have a lot of friends, even though they were Caribbean med students, they got rejected for visa, so they couldn't come
Exactly.
here.
That's a
Yeah,
huge thing that now that
exactly.
is what I would say a breaking news that even Caribbean, non-US Caribbean,
Yeah.
they were rejected. That's a huge thing.
Yeah, so they were rejected. So they had to get their rotations from other countries like Jamaica or like St. Lucia, St. Kitts, Barbados, like all these other Caribbean islands. So we don't know how much of an impact those rotations are going to play. So it's a big thing. But then also, a lot of PDs have said that if you absolutely cannot do anything, might as well do some tele rotations with residency programs that have, exactly like you said, that have the, leadership, and you can interact with someone, try interacting with the
Absolutely.
residents. Yeah.
Okay, and I think there's one question. Are applicants still getting an invitation? So one of my mentees got invitation, I think 7, 8 days ago.
Hmm.
There's always a chance in January, even in February, chances are low, but there's always a chance. Well, thanks, Sweta. We'll continue to
Yeah.
do these kind of things. Have a good rest of your day, and please post questions in the comments or reach out to me individually. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.